You wake up in the morning. You sit up slowly, the way you always do now. You blink a few times and wait for the room to come into focus. You wait a little longer than you used to. The blur takes a few extra seconds to clear. You walk to the kitchen, fill the kettle, and for just a second, you stand there. What did you come in here for? You shake it off, make the coffee. By the time you sit down, you've almost forgotten it happened. Almost. But here's the thing, folks. I need you to hear me very carefully right now. That blurry vision in the morning, that walk into the kitchen and forget moment, that fog that sits behind your eyes some afternoons like a curtain that won't quite open, that is not just aging. And it is not happening in your eyes or your brain alone. In many of my patients, people who sat across from my desk looking perfectly healthy, it was happening in their kidneys first. I'm going to tell you today about a 66-year-old man I'll call Thomas. Names and details have been changed for privacy as required. Thomas came to see me not because he was sick. He came because his wife made him come. She'd noticed that Thomas was squinting at the television. He was asking her to repeat herself more. He was forgetting names he'd known for 30 years. His doctor had told him it was age-related cognitive decline. Normal. Expected. Nothing to do. Thomas sat across from my desk and said, "Dr. Tang, I'm 66. Am I just done?" I ran his panels, and what I found stopped me cold. Thomas had stage 2 chronic kidney disease. His kidneys had been quietly, silently failing, losing function month by month, year by year, while he felt nothing. And his kidney dysfunction was flooding his bloodstream with uremic toxins, compounds that cross the blood-brain barrier and damage neuronal tissue. Compounds that narrow the tiny blood vessels in the back of his eye, vessels thinner than a human hair, and strangle the retinal cells responsible for sharp, clear vision. Thomas wasn't experiencing cognitive decline. Thomas was being poisoned, slowly, by his own filtration failure, and he had no idea. Folks, your kidneys are the silent organ. They can lose 70% of their function before sending a single warning sign. Not a twinge, not an ache, not a single signal. And one of the first places that silent damage shows up, before your nephrologist even catches it, is in your eyes and your brain. Now, before I go any further, I want to be absolutely clear. Everything I'm sharing with you today is educational information based on 25 years of clinical practice. It is not a substitute for personal medical advice. Every one of you has a different kidney function level, different medications, different individual health situation. Please, talk to your doctor about what is right for you specifically. What I'm about to share is what I've watched work for patients who made simple, free changes at their breakfast table. Now, let's get into it. My name is Dr. Wilson Tang. I am a board-certified nephrologist. I have spent 25 years in the ER at 3 in the morning, in the dialysis unit watching people lose their independence, and in the clinic watching patients' vision and memory slowly dim while their kidneys silently failed. I am not a health influencer. I am a kidney specialist who has spent 25 years watching patients arrive too late. And I am tired of it. In this video, folks, I'm going to show you 4 simple, free, kitchen-based juices, backed by real science and by what I've seen in my own patients, that can support your brain and eye health by targeting the same nutritional deficiencies that make kidney-related decline worse. I'm going to show you what happened to Thomas, and I'm going to show you what changed for him in 3 months. But first, I need to show you 3 danger signs that most people chalk up to aging. Because if you're experiencing any of them, your body may be asking for help in the only way it knows how. Stick with me, because the part I'm about to share, the part about what's really happening in your body while you sleep, is the part that nobody else is going to tell you. Hit that like button right now, folks. Think of it as your first commitment to your own brain and your own vision, before their next morning blur. Hit it. Now here's something most people will never hear from their doctor. Not because their doctor doesn't know, but because your doctor has 7 minutes per appointment. 7 minutes to review your blood work, your blood pressure, your medications, your weight, and then you're out the door. There is no time for what I'm about to explain. 92%. Folks, over 92% of adults over 65 are lacking at least one key nutrient their brain and eyes need to repair themselves at night. Not during the day, at night, during sleep. Here's why that number scares me as a kidney doctor. Your brain and your eyes are two of the most blood-hungry organs in your body. They require constant, pristine blood flow to function, repair, and protect themselves. And your kidneys are the master regulators of that blood flow. They control blood pressure. They filter the waste products that would otherwise clog your retinal vessels. They regulate the mineral balance that determines whether your neurons fire cleanly or sluggishly. When your kidneys are struggling, even mildly, even in ways that don't show up on a basic annual checkup, the blood that reaches your brain and eyes is less clean, less oxygen-rich, more loaded with the metabolic waste that accumulates when filtration slows. And at night, when your brain is supposed to be doing its deepest repair work, clearing toxic proteins, strengthening memory pathways, rebuilding neural connections, it's trying to do that repair job with compromised fuel. Your retina, one of the most metabolically active tissues in your entire body, is trying to replenish its photoreceptor cells while sitting in a blood supply that isn't clean enough to do the job properly. That is why you wake up with blur that takes longer to clear every year. That is why the names slip away. That is why the fog comes earlier and lifts later. Now, some of you right now are thinking, my last checkup said my kidneys were fine. Stop. That thought right there? That is the most dangerous thought in this entire video. Standard annual blood work checks your creatinine. It gives you a GFR estimate. But GFR can read as normal, technically within range, while your kidney function is already declining by several percent per year. You can lose 30% of your kidney function and still get a lab report that says within normal limits. I have seen this happen over and over in patients exactly like Thomas. That is why the question is never, are my kidneys fine today? The question is, are my kidneys getting the nutritional support they need to protect my brain and eyes for the next 20 years? That is the question we're going to answer today. Here are the 4 most powerful kitchen-based juices for supporting the kidney-brain-eye connection after 60. And I'm going to show you why most people are drinking them wrong, or not drinking them at all. Juice number 1, carrot juice. And I want to warn you right now, folks, if you're drinking carrot juice the way most people drink it, you're wasting most of its power. Let me tell you what happened to a woman I'll call Margaret, 67 years old, retired school librarian from Dayton, Ohio. The kind of woman who had her book club on Tuesdays, her garden every Saturday morning, and a smoothie every single day because she was, as she told me, very focused on eating healthy. Margaret was proud of her discipline. She came to see me after her optometrist referred her. He'd noticed something in a routine eye exam, early changes in the small blood vessels of her retina. Hypertensive retinopathy, the technical term. Tiny vessels in the back of her eye beginning to narrow and stiffen. Her blood pressure was borderline high, and her kidney function, when I tested it, showed early-stage decline that her primary care doctor had attributed to her age and told her not to worry about. Margaret stared at me. "But Dr. Tang, I eat so well. I drink carrot juice every morning." I asked her how she drank it. She told me, in a big glass, alone, first thing in the morning, before breakfast. Folks, there is the problem. And it applies to every juice we'll discuss today. Carrot juice is one of the most powerful tools you have for protecting your retinal blood vessels and supporting the kidney-eye connection. It is loaded with beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A, the foundational nutrient for your photoreceptor cells, the cells in your retina that capture light and send visual signals to your brain. Without adequate vitamin A, those cells begin to weaken. They become more vulnerable to the oxidative stress that accumulates in aging blood vessels, including the retinal vessels that kidney-related blood pressure changes damage first. Carrot juice also contains lutein and zeaxanthin, which accumulate directly in the macula, the central part of your retina responsible for sharp, detailed vision. These compounds act like internal sunglasses, filtering damaging light and actively reducing the oxidative damage that accelerates vision decline. And it contains a compound called falcarinol, which research suggests helps protect neuronal membranes and reduce inflammatory activity in brain tissue. In 25 years of practice, I've seen this connection over and over. Patients with higher dietary intake of beta-carotene and lutein maintain sharper vision and better kidney function measurements as they age. The two systems are deeply linked. But here's the part Margaret was getting wrong. Here's the part that makes the difference between wasting your carrot juice and actually letting it work. Beta-carotene is fat-soluble. That means your body cannot absorb it without fat present in your digestive system. When Margaret drank her carrot juice alone, on an empty stomach, before breakfast, she was absorbing perhaps 20% of what she was drinking. The rest passed right through her. Juice 2 to 3 medium carrots fresh each morning. Add a slice of ginger for circulation support. Then, and this is critical, folks, pair it immediately with a healthy fat. A teaspoon of olive oil stirred in, a handful of walnuts, whole grain toast with half an avocado. Without that fat, you are drinking expensive orange water. Margaret made this one change. Within 8 weeks, her follow-up retinal exam showed stabilization of the early vessel changes. Her nephrologist was cautiously encouraged by her kidney function trends. And she told me something that made my entire week. "Dr. Tang, my morning blur is almost gone. I'm reading in bed again. I couldn't do that for 2 years." Now, some of you are thinking, "That's great. Carrot juice fixed it. I'm done. Close the video and go make some juice." Don't you dare close this video, folks. Because what I haven't told you yet about danger number 2 is the reason Margaret's retinal vessels were narrowing in the first place. And fixing the absorption of your carrot juice doesn't solve it. If you're still with me right now, type "kidney strong" in the comments. Just those 2 words. When you see information, hear it, and then write it with your own hand, your brain locks it in. It's called active encoding. It works even against age-related memory changes. Type it now. This isn't just a comment. This is a promise you're making to yourself, that you will protect your brain, your eyes, and your kidneys, and you will stay independent for the people who love you. Juice number 2, beet juice. And I want to tell you about a man who almost didn't make it to his granddaughter's 8th birthday party. I'll call him Robert. 71 years old, retired firefighter from outside Houston, Texas. A man who'd spent 30 years running into buildings while everyone else ran out. A tough man. A man who had not voluntarily been to a doctor in more than a decade. His daughter brought him in after he'd had what she described as an episode. He'd been sitting at the dinner table one evening, and suddenly he told her the left side of his vision had gone dark. Not painful, just dark. Like a curtain had dropped over his left eye. It lasted about 40 seconds and then cleared. He'd dismissed it as nothing. His daughter had not. When I examined Robert, his blood pressure was 174/110. His retinal vessels showed significant hypertensive changes, the same narrowing, the same arteriovenous nicking that precedes serious vision loss. And his kidney function, which he had never had formally tested, showed his GFR was 46. 46, folks. Below 60 is already stage 3 kidney disease. Robert had been walking around with significantly impaired kidney function for what his panel suggested was years. He had felt nothing, not one warning sign. Because your kidneys are the silent organ. The episode with his vision? A transient ischemic attack, a TIA, a mini-stroke, caused by the very same vascular disease that was narrowing his retinal vessels and undermining his kidney filtration. All 3 systems, his brain, his eyes, his kidneys, being quietly destroyed by the same enemy. Chronically poor circulation and elevated blood pressure that nobody had caught. Folks, do you know what dialysis costs in America? I'm going to tell you this directly. $90,000 a year. That is what kidney failure costs. Not what insurance pays, what it costs. Your retirement savings, your children's inheritance, your grandchildren's college fund. The financial security you spent your entire working life building. Gone. And not in one dramatic moment. Slowly, bill by bill, copay by copay. 3 treatments a week, every week, for the rest of your life. Robert was heading there, and a glass of beet juice 3 times a week was not going to reverse his kidney disease. But here's what it was going to do, and what it does for everyone whose circulation is quietly starving their brain and eyes. Beets are extraordinarily rich in dietary nitrates. When you drink beet juice, those nitrates are converted in your body into nitric oxide, a molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. When vessels widen, blood flows more freely. When blood flows more freely, oxygen delivery increases to your brain and your retina. Your retinal vessels stop being squeezed so tightly. The pressure that's been quietly strangling your photoreceptor cells begins to ease. In my clinical experience, I've watched patients with early-stage hypertensive retinopathy, the retinal vessel narrowing that precedes serious vision decline, show measurable improvement in their retinal blood flow assessments after consistent beet juice consumption combined with proper blood pressure management. Research published in the Journal of Ocular Pharmacology and Therapeutics supports what I've seen firsthand. Increased nitric oxide production helps maintain retinal thickness and reduces oxidative stress in aging subjects. And the brain benefits are equally significant. Research from the journal Nitric Oxide examined older adults who consumed beet juice daily. After 4 weeks, researchers observed significantly improved blood flow to the frontal lobe, the area responsible for attention, decision-making, and short-term memory. Participants demonstrated faster reaction times. Their brains were receiving the oxygen they'd been quietly starved of. Here's how to use it properly, folks. 1 medium raw beet, peeled and sliced. Juice it fresh. Add a small apple or half an orange to balance the flavor. Drink 1 small glass between 2 and 4 in the afternoon, that window when your energy and focus naturally dip. If you can pair it with a brisk 10 to 15-minute walk, do it. Movement amplifies the nitric oxide effect. Together, they can do more for your afternoon circulation than any supplement you'll find on a pharmacy shelf. Robert started beet juice. He started walking 30 minutes every day. He worked with his cardiologist and nephrologist together on a comprehensive plan. His blood pressure came down. His kidney function held stable, not reversing. Kidney damage does not reverse. I want to be honest with you about that. But holding, not getting worse. At his follow-up visit 8 months later, his optometrist found no new retinal vessel changes. "Dr. Tang," he told me, "I made it to Emma's birthday. I was the one who helped her blow out the candles." Folks, I want you to think about someone you love right now. Your husband, your wife, your parent, your sibling, someone who you know has high blood pressure, someone whose eyes are getting worse, someone who, like Robert, dismisses every symptom. Share this video with them tonight. Literally pull out your phone and text it to your family group chat right now. Before their next morning blur, before their next dizzy spell, before the curtain drops and doesn't come back. 1 text message, 1 tap. That is the easiest thing you will ever do that might save someone's eyesight. But wait, I haven't shown you the 3rd juice yet. And the 3rd one, folks, the 3rd one is the one I believe is most important for what's happening in your brain while you sleep. And most people who drink it at completely the wrong time of day. Juice number 3, blueberry juice. And here's what I need you to understand about this one before anything else. Most of the brain and eye damage that accelerates after 60 doesn't happen during the day. It happens at night, while you sleep. Or rather, while your body tries to repair itself at night and doesn't have what it needs to do the job. Your brain spends the first few hours of sleep clearing metabolic waste, including a protein called beta amyloid, which builds up in the spaces between neurons and is strongly associated with cognitive decline. Your retina spends those same hours replenishing its photoreceptor cells and repairing the oxidative damage that accumulated during the day. These are active, energetically expensive processes, and they depend on specific compounds your body cannot make on its own. I'll tell you about a woman I'll call Patricia. 64 years old, retired registered nurse from outside Portland, Oregon. Patricia was, medically speaking, a model patient. She knew her numbers. She took her medications faithfully. She exercised 5 days a week. And yet, she was losing her sharpness. She told me, "Dr. Tang, I feel like I'm watching my mind through a foggy window. I can see it. I just can't quite reach it." Patricia's kidneys were functioning at about 58% efficiency, right at the borderline of stage 3 chronic kidney disease. The uremic toxins accumulating in her bloodstream were subtly damaging her brain's ability to consolidate memory during sleep. She was getting 7 hours of sleep, but her brain was not getting 7 hours of repair. It was getting 7 hours of effort with inadequate fuel. I asked Patricia one question. "What do you eat in the evening?" She told me, "Yogurt and a banana, usually around 8 o'clock. Then nothing until morning." Blueberries are loaded with anthocyanins, the compounds that give them their deep blue-purple color. These molecules have a rare ability that most nutrients lack. They can cross the blood-brain barrier. Once inside, they reduce oxidative stress in the hippocampus, the region of your brain responsible for learning and memory. They stimulate neurogenesis, the formation of new brain cells, which researchers once believed was impossible after a certain age. And they enhance production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a protein that helps brain cells survive, grow, and form new connections. BDNF is essentially fertilizer for your brain. As we age, our BDNF levels naturally decline. Blueberry anthocyanins help restore them. Research published in the Journals of Gerontology Series A followed older adults who consumed wild blueberry juice daily for 12 weeks. Participants showed improved memory recall, faster processing speed, and increased neural activation on brain scans compared to their baseline measurements. And for the eyes? Anthocyanins protect retinal ganglion cells, the cells responsible for transmitting visual signals from your eye to your brain. When those transmission pathways are damaged, your brain receives a blurry, degraded signal, even if your retina is physically intact. Blueberry juice helps protect those pathways. But here is what Patricia was missing, and what most people get wrong about this juice. The timing matters enormously. If you drink blueberry juice in the morning or at lunchtime, which is what most people do when they think about adding healthy antioxidants to their diet, the anthocyanins circulate during the day and are largely cleared from your system by the time your brain begins its deepest repair cycles at night. You're getting some benefit, but you're missing the window when those compounds can do the most good. 90 minutes before bed. That is when to drink your blueberry juice. 1 cup of fresh or frozen wild blueberries blended with a little water. Add half a banana if you want a smoother texture. Drink it 90 minutes before sleep, so the anthocyanins are circulating in your bloodstream exactly when your brain begins its nighttime restoration work. Patricia made this one change. She moved her evening snack from yogurt and banana to blueberries. Within 3 weeks, she told me, "The fog window is clearing, Dr. Tang. I can reach through it again." At her 6-month follow-up, her cognitive function scores had measurably improved. Her nephrologist noted her kidney function had held stable. She had given her brain the nighttime fuel it needed to do its job. Now, folks, I have to ask you something directly. Are any of you waking up with eyes that take several minutes to clear in the morning? Do you sometimes have trouble remembering a word mid-sentence? The word is right there. You can almost feel it, but it won't come? If that's you, type yes in the comments right now. I want to know your experience. Because what you're describing, that is not just age. And the 4th juice I'm about to share with you is the one I believe addresses the root of it most directly. Before I tell you about that 4th juice, though, let me be completely honest with you. Some of you watching this video have kidneys that are working at 50% right now, 40%, maybe less, and you feel absolutely fine. You have no idea. Because your kidneys are the silent organ. Because by the time you feel the damage, 70% is already gone. Do you know what it means to sit in a dialysis chair 3 times a week? 3 hours per session. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for the rest of your life. You cannot travel freely. You cannot visit your grandchildren without planning every trip around a dialysis center. Your son or daughter arranges their entire work schedule around taking you. Your retirement, the years you spent your whole life earning, is spent in a reclining chair watching a machine do what your kidneys used to do for free. $90,000 a year that Medicare doesn't fully cover. Your savings dissolved. Your independence surrendered. I'm not telling you this to frighten you beyond reason. I'm telling you because I have sat with too many patients who looked at me and said, "I wish someone had told me sooner." Your health is the greatest gift you will ever give your family. It is worth more than any inheritance. It is worth changing one thing in your kitchen tonight. Juice number 4, spinach juice. The most humble-looking juice on this list, and the one I believe does the most targeted work for what's happening in your retina and your brain's communication network right now. I'll tell you about a man I'll call James, 69 years old, retired postal worker from outside Atlanta, Georgia. James had been having trouble reading road signs while driving. Not blindness, he could see perfectly well up close, but distant, high-contrast objects were getting blurry. His optometrist had mentioned early macular changes, the beginning of damage to the central retina responsible for sharp, detailed vision. And James had walked out of that appointment not entirely sure what that meant for his future. James came to me because his brother had kidney disease, and his annual checkup had flagged elevated creatinine for the second consecutive year. He asked me, "Is this connected? The eyes? The kidneys?" Yes, James, they are deeply connected. Your macula is the central region of your retina. It is packed with two specific carotenoids, lutein and zeaxanthin, that accumulate there and nowhere else in your body. These compounds are your macula's primary defense against the oxidative stress caused by decades of light exposure. Blue light from screens, UV from the sun. As you age, your macula's levels of lutein and zeaxanthin decline. When they decline, the macula becomes vulnerable. Vision loses its sharpness. Contrast sensitivity drops. The early changes James was seeing on his retinal exam are what happens when the macula runs out of its protective pigment. Spinach is one of the richest natural sources of both lutein and zeaxanthin on Earth. Period. But spinach also does something that most people don't know, something that matters deeply for the kidney-brain connection. Spinach is packed with folate, a B vitamin that is critically important for regulating homocysteine. When homocysteine levels elevate, which happens in patients with even early-stage kidney dysfunction, it becomes directly toxic to brain cells. Elevated homocysteine is strongly associated with cognitive decline, damage to neural communication pathways, and acceleration of the small vessel disease that narrows retinal blood supply. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that when folate levels were restored through dietary intervention in older adults with low levels, cognitive performance measurably improved. In my clinical experience, patients whose folate intake rises through leafy greens show a meaningful stabilization in cognitive test scores alongside their kidney function management. Spinach also provides vitamin K, which supports the integrity of the myelin sheath, the protective coating around your neurons that allows electrical signals to travel efficiently from your eyes to your brain, from your brain to your memories. Healthy myelin means faster, cleaner signal transmission. When myelin degrades, signals get crossed. Words don't come. Names slip. Vision processing slows. One large handful of fresh, raw spinach, juiced with half a cucumber or a green apple. Drink it mid-morning, when your stomach is neither empty nor overly full. That is when your body's folate absorption is optimal. One important note, folks. Spinach contains oxalates, natural compounds that can affect kidney stone formation and may not be ideal in large amounts for individuals with certain kidney conditions. This is one of the most important reasons to talk to your doctor before adding spinach juice to your daily routine if you have any kidney history at all. Moderation is key, and your doctor's guidance is essential. James added spinach juice mid-morning and blueberry juice in the evening. At his 3-month follow-up, his optometrist found that the early macular changes had stabilized. His creatinine levels held steady. He told my nurse, "I'm reading road signs again. I drove to the store on my own last week for the first time in months." Folks, that right there, that is what this is about. Not lab numbers, not medical terminology. A 69-year-old man driving himself to the store. Now, I know some of you right now want to run to the grocery store immediately and buy every vegetable in sight. I understand that feeling completely. But here's what I need you to do instead. Take a breath. Exhale. Because this is actually simple. 3 steps. Free. You can start tonight. Step 1. Remove the wrong timing. Stop drinking your juice randomly or whenever you remember. Timing is medicine. Morning carrot juice with a healthy fat so you actually absorb the beta-carotene. Mid-morning spinach juice when absorption is optimal. Afternoon beet juice when your circulation needs the most support. Evening blueberry juice 90 minutes before bed when your brain needs its nighttime fuel. Same window, every day. That rhythm matters. Step 2. Replace one item in your evening routine. Whatever you're eating or drinking in the 90 minutes before bed, replace part of it with a cup of wild blueberry juice or a small blueberry blend. You are giving your brain and retina the raw materials they need for overnight repair. It costs perhaps $2. It takes 4 minutes to prepare, and it works while you sleep. Step 3. Restore the fat-soluble absorption window. Every morning, within 30 minutes of drinking carrot juice, eat something with a healthy fat. A teaspoon of olive oil, a few walnuts, half an avocado on toast. Without this step, you absorb almost nothing from the most important visual support nutrients in carrot juice. This one change alone could dramatically increase what your retina and your kidneys get from the juice you're already drinking. Remember Thomas, the man who came to my office and asked if he was just done at 66? 3 months after making these changes, along with the medication adjustments and lifestyle modifications his care team recommended, Thomas came back to see me. His wife was with him. She was smiling before she even sat down. His follow-up kidney panel showed his GFR had stabilized. His retinal exam showed no progression of the early vessel changes. And Thomas? Thomas had his hand resting on a novel. He'd started reading again. Something he'd given up 2 years earlier because the words blurred too quickly. "Dr. Tang," he said, "I told Linda I think I finally understand what was happening to me. My body was asking for things I wasn't giving it, and nobody told me." Folks, that is exactly why I make these videos. Your body is asking. Are you listening? Here is what we covered today. 3 things to lock in. Number 1, your brain, your eyes, and your kidneys are not separate problems. They are one connected system, served by the same blood supply, regulated by the same pressure, damaged by the same deficiencies. When your kidneys struggle, your eyes and brain follow. Number 2, 92% of adults over 65 are lacking at least one key nutrient their brain and eyes need for overnight repair. Carrot juice, beet juice, blueberry juice, and spinach juice, when taken at the right times and in the right way, directly address those nutritional gaps. Free, tonight. No prescription required. Number 3, the right timing is everything. Morning carrot with fat, mid-morning spinach, afternoon beet, evening blueberry. That rhythm works with your body's natural repair cycles. Against them, even the best nutrition barely reaches where it needs to go. Type kidney strong in the comments right now, folks. I want to see how many of you made it all the way through. This is your promise to your brain, to your vision, to your kidneys, and to the family that needs you whole and present and sharp. Hit that like button. Lock in that promise. Hit subscribe. Think of it as free enrollment with a nephrologist who has time for you. No copay, no deductible, no 7-minute clock. Just a doctor who will be here every week with the information your appointments don't have room for. And share this video with one person in your life tonight. Your parent, your spouse, your best friend from church, someone whose morning blur you've noticed getting worse, someone who waves off every symptom and says, "I'm fine." Let me be the one to have that conversation for you, without any argument, without any hurt feelings. Just the truth from a doctor who has spent 25 years watching what happens when people don't get this information soon enough. Oh, and one more thing, folks. That supplement 90% of Americans over 60 take for their bones and their heart every single morning? In my next video, I'm going to show you what it is actually doing to your kidney filtration system. You are going to want to see that before you take another one. I promise you. I don't want to see you in a dialysis center. I don't want to see your family taking shifts at your hospital bedside. I want to see you in your car, driving yourself to the grocery store, reading by the window in the afternoon, finishing your crossword puzzle, looking your grandchild in the eye and seeing them clearly, with full, sharp, vivid sight. That is what I want for you. That is what I want for every person watching this. Stay strong, folks. Nourish your kidneys, protect your brain, give your eyes what they need, and your body will give you back years you thought were already gone. I'm Dr. Wilson Tang, your lifelong kidney doctor. I'll see you in the next one.